Hello, Ngoc. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good. Okay. So we're going to practice some writing. When do you write your IELTS exam? Is it tomorrow?
Is on Thursday next week.
Next week, Thursday. Okay, so you've got some time to practice. Today we're going to learn for 100 minutes for 2 lessons. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's look over here. You should spend no more than 20 minutes on this task. The diagram below shows part of the nitrogen cycle on Earth. The black arrows represent the movement of the nitrogen as it is changed. Okay, write a report for a university lecturer describing the information. You should write at least 150 words. Okay, let's look at the nitrogen cycle. Do you know what nitrogen is?
No.
Okay, nitrogen is like a gas that's in the air. Hello, Nhu.
Hello, teacher.
How are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm okay, thank you. Okay. We're looking at the nitrogen cycle. Let me just get our translate. Okay. I don't know why my computer is slow today. Hello, Ngoc.
Hello, teacher.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good. Okay. Nitrogen. It's a gas that's in the air. We study it for science. Do you know this word? Yes, I
Yeah.
don't hear, you know, okay. So now we're going to look at, excuse me, okay. We're looking at the nitrogen cycle. So let's start on this side. Nitrogen gas is converted into other nitrogen compounds by plants. Okay. And then nitrogen gas is converted into other nitrogen compounds by bacteria in the soil. Okay, so then the animals eat the plants, or plants eaten by animals. Animal waste goes back into the soil. Okay, and then the soil grows more plants. Other types of plants and bacteria convert nitrogen compounds into nitrogen gas. Okay. And then it goes, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere makes clouds. Okay, so this whole thing, it just shows us the movement of nitrogen. So it can go into the plant or into the soil. It goes through an animal and back into the soil, back into the plant. Okay, and then it gets other types of plants and bacteria convert. Okay, so this is a different plant. It converts it into a gas that goes into the air. Okay, does everybody understand? Have you studied something like this before? I don't hear anybody. Is there anything that you don't understand?
No.
Okay. Karnak, you understand everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nhu, do you understand?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Have you studied this at school before?
Mm,
No?
yeah, no.
Okay. Okay, now we need to write a report. This diagram, okay, it shows the nitrogen cycle on Earth. The black arrows represent the movement of nitrogen as it is changed. Okay, let's talk about this. 150 words. Okay, I just want to... So now, what we should say, the movement of nitrogen. Knock on, can you start this for me?
The introduction.
Yes, you can give me an introduction. Tell me what it's all about.
In this graph,
Okay, this is more of a picture in this or diagram. Okay, in this diagram, we can see
the nitrogen cycle.
okay, and how it is moved. Okay. Okay, tell me a little bit about it, just very briefly. Not too much detail. Okay, so we can say nitrogen gas is converted by plants. Okay. Which is then eaten by an animal or goes into the soil. Okay. Other plants. Okay, sorry, let me fix it. Eaten by an animal, which its waste goes into the soil, or it is okay. Do you understand? Knock goes directly into the soil.
Yes.
Okay. Other plants convert it back into a gas. And the cycle continues. Okay, card knock. Can you give me the first paragraph? Okay, now we're going to talk in more detail. Like, okay, so we're almost going to talk about this part over here and what happens with the plants.
Then the plants will be eaten by animal in
Over here, okay, before that, so let's start with looking at nitrogen as a gas. Okay, what happens when it's a gas?
the gas will into other nitrogen compounds in the plants.
Other nitrogen compounds. Okay, in the plants. Okay, very good. But there's 2 arrows here, so what else could happen? Okay, one, it goes into the plants, or
converts into other nitrogen composed by bacteria in the soil.
yes, bacteria. Okay, another way that nitrogen is converted is by the bacteria in the soil. Okay. These are ways that the nitrogen becomes a solid. Okay, so we have gas, solid, and liquid. So gas is like air. Solid is something that you can touch, okay, something hard. And then we have liquid, which is like water. Okay, so if it's converted, it becomes a solid. It becomes something that you can touch. These are, what am I writing here? Ways. Okay, New, what do we say after this? Let's talk about the cow. Okay, let's say once the night. Okay, what happens after it's converted in the plant? What happens?
The plant eaten by animal.
Yeah. An animal such as a cow. Okay. And then what happens afterwards?
An animal was go back into soil.
Okay. Nitrogen goes through the animal and back into the soil. Okay, with animal waste. Okay, good. Let's see here. These are ways that, okay. Just make it a bit higher. Come on. Okay, knock on. What can we say after that? Okay, so now we're talking about the nitrogen that's in the soil. Okay, once the is in the soil and converted either by the plant or what was another way that it gets converted? Okay, now talk to me. Tell me what happens.
Or the nitrogen will
Look at the end. What happens once it's in the soil?
And nitrogen became plants.
Yeah, okay. Other types of plants and bacteria convert the nitro. Okay. Uh, back into
A plant.
okay, look over here. Into convert
Into
into
Compose.
nitrogen. Nitrogen gas. Okay, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere. Okay, Knock. Tell me what happens once it's in a gas.
The gas will nitrogen gas will
The nitrogen gas then goes back into the air. And then converted again. Let's say by a plant or soil again. Okay, how are we going to finish this knock?
overall
Yeah.
this is a nitrogen cycle and it still remain
This is a interesting cycle.
and it will still remain this circle.
Okay, let's say it like this. The cycle continues to okay, let's say that the cycle continues and this cycle is how okay. Is there anything else that anyone wants to say? Let me just check my writing here. So, okay, the nitrogen gas then goes back into the air. Okay, let's see. Sorry, Nhu, you can read it for me first.
In this diagram, we can see the nitrogen cycle and how it is moved. Nitrogen gas is converted by plants, which is then eaten by an animal which goes in the soil, or it is converted and
Oh,
goes.
sorry. Let me check. Okay, its waste goes into the soil or it is converted.
Or it is converted and go directly into the soil. Other plants convert it back into a gas and the cycle continues. Let's start with looking at nitrogen as a gas. The gas is converted into other nitrogen compounds in the plant. Another way that nitrogen is converted is by the converted is by the
bacteria, yeah.
Bacteria in the soil. These are ways that the nitrogen becomes a solid.
A solid.
Once the nitrogen has been converted in the plant is eaten by an animal, such as a cow. The nitrogen goes through the animal and back into the soil with the animal waste.
Okay, Knock, you can read the rest. Once.
Once the nitrogen is in the soil and converted either by the plant, eaten by the animal, or bacteria in the soil. Other types of plants and bacteria then convert the nitrogen compounds back into a nitrogen gas. The nitrogen gas then
like think of day and night. Nitrogen
gas go back into the air and then converted by a plant or soil again. The circle continues, and the circle is how nitrogen is moved on Earth through its different
stages. Okay, converted. Knock on, you can read it for me, please. Remember, nitrogen, cycle, converted.
In this diagram, we can see the nitrogen cycle and how it moves. Nitrogen gas is converted by plants, which converted by plants, which it is then eaten by an animal, which it waste goes to the soil, or it is converted and goes directly into the soil. Other plants convert it back into a gas and the cycle continues. Let's start with looking at nitrogen as a gas. The gas is converted into other nitrogen compounds in the plants. Another way that nitrogen is converted is by the bacteria in the soil. These are ways that the nitrogen becomes a solid. Once the nitrogen has been converted in the plant is eaten by an animal such as cow. The nitrogen goes through the animal and back into the soil with the animal waste. Once the nitrogen is in the soil and converted either by the plant eaten by the animal or bacteria in the soil. Other types of plant and bacteria then convert in the nitrogen compost back into a nitrogen gas. The nitrogen gas then goes back into the air and then converted by a plant or soil again. The cycle continues, and this cycle is how nitrogen is moved on Earth through its different stages.
Okay, good. Excuse me. Okay, good. Do you understand everything? Are there any words you don't understand? Anybody? Everybody happy with everything? Yes? Okay, I don't hear anybody, so I think everybody's happy. Okay. Let's go see. I've got a different writing thing for you. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. When looking at any chart, graph, or process, break the visual down into key expressions. Use these keywords to help you write your report. Okay, what the diagram is measuring or displaying. Okay, a summary of oil refining, different steps, heat to 600 degrees Celsius, distillation. Description of stages in the diagram, separation by cooling, aviation and automotive gasoline separated. Okay, kerosene distilled. Okay, so write the introduction, body, and conclusion. General statements about the diagram. 2 main steps in getting finished products from crude oil. The first step, heating the oil, and the second step, distillation or separation. The lightest products, extra chemical processing. Okay. Let's have a look here. We have crude oil, steam furnace. Okay. A furnace means something that gets very, very hot. It heats the oil to 600 degrees Celsius. That's very hot. Okay, then it goes into here. Okay, distillation, separation by cooling. So while it's in here, it starts cooling down. Let's see, fuel oil, diesel, kerosene, automotive and aviation gasoline. Okay, but while it's still hot at 400 degrees, it's residue, it's lubricant, wax, asphalt. Okay. Lighter products, heavier products. Okay, do you understand? Do you know what crude oil is?
No.
Yeah.
No, okay, let me type it for you. I hope. Crude oil, it's like oil that we use for, our country uses for different things. Do you know this word?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's go back. Okay, we need to write about this. So let's look here. Introduction, begin with 1 or 2 sentences that states what the process shows. Remember to phrase the introduction to the process. A paraphrase. How crude oil is refined. Crude oil from storage into steam furnace. Heat. Okay. Okay, so the introduction is just briefly what we're going to talk about. Then the body, we talk more about it. And the conclusion just brings it all together. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I have an example here of some writing. Ngoc, you can help me with the introduction. Okay, first let's come back because otherwise we will lose our writing. Okay, we're going to come back first.